What's up, YouTube? In this tutorial, I'm going to show y'all how to mix your drums in a track. Now, we're going off of the same beat that I was showing y'all earlier. And as you can see, I got everything bypassed. I have certain things sent to different buses. The kick drum is going to out to the clap, and this snare going to different buses. I set it up like that because sometimes in this track I really don't have it, but sometimes I'll have like maybe up to 5 different, snare and clap tracks. I might have a snap, a clap, 2 different snare rolls, and a change up snare clap. I might have a bunch of different ones, and this way I could send it to 2 different compressors and 2 different EQs, or send it to a compressor without an EQ, or send it to a compressor and then an EQ, and I can set it up a bunch of different ways. So that's why I have my template set up like that. Right now we're just gonna listen to it with raw, just up to this point, with no compression, no nothing on it. Alright, so we can start with this kick drum right here. Now I got a little EQ setting right here that I usually I put on here. Let's see, kick 1, and it's pretty simple. It's a high pass with a low pass up top, rolling off a little bit of the top end. I can adjust it like that. And with this kick, I have a lot of these kick samples that have this almost like in the 5K snap, almost like it makes it pop. Right now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna boost this up a good little bit, and I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. Now what you can do is you could actually move this around right here by just setting your Q up really high. Your Q is how much the EQ is going to do it. If it's a wide band or a short band, if you set it up to a high Q, you're going to have a short band to where you can notch out some of those frequencies that you don't want. So you kind of hear it. It's like a whistling sound almost. And then I could widen it up a little bit to where I'm not taking too much from it. Now also the high end, you can kind of hear it. It kind of thickens it up whenever you do that. Sometimes I remove somewhere around the like 300, 250 range. It's all dependent on the kick. And it also depends on what octave your 808's in, or what octave your bass is in. That has a lot to do with it. Even your kick drum. That's why you can't just set this to one little thing. You have to kind of phase around and notch filter it out to find where it is. And in some kicks you want more of that presence, and anywhere from 3 to 5K. You kind of want that. And it also depends on the genre of music you're doing. Rock music has a lot. If their kick drums have a lot in that 5K, 3K range, where it's like you could hear it big time in regular old house speakers, or regular computer speakers, you could hear it. With rap music, it's a little bit. I kind of like my stuff a little bit more like, I guess you would call it almost analog sounding, where I kind of roll off some of this. And then I have it sent to one of my favorite compressors for kick drums and snares and all kinds of different drums. This is a DBX emulation on the compressor bank. I have these same settings on there. Fairly fast attack, a medium release, and a 4-to-1 comp, and threshold set to 15. So it kind of takes away. So what you might want to do is you back off on the threshold a little bit. I kind of like my kicks to come over here in the yellow in Pro Tools. That's why I like working in Pro Tools, is because if I know where it's at, I could see it on the meter. I could see where it's at as far as how loud it is, and I know how loud that's going to be in my car, and I know how loud that's going to be on different speakers. Because I've tested it and listened to it and used my ears. Now you could use any EQ, any compressor, but these are the ones that I like to use. I like to pull tech on my kick drums a lot. I like to boost around 60, and let's take a listen to that. So kind of gives it that extra knot. You might want to come back and then change back the threshold to 15. So you could even boost somewhere in the 3K range on a kick drum to give it that pop, so you can hear it on computer speakers and earbuds. You're gonna be able to kind of hear it better on different speakers. All right, so let's look at our little clap that we have right here. Rolled off a little bit on the end. DBX compressor, almost the same settings as the kick. I'll roll off a little bit. You'll see me use a lot of high passes on a lot of different things. I usually don't try to. I try not to roll off too much. I try to roll off things that get in the way of my kick drum and my 808. Whenever I do that, you can hear the 808 a whole lot better. That's why I don't need to turn my 808 all the way up, because I have all these different instruments that I've moved out of the way of my 808 and my kick drum. So I added the compressor. I like the API, but you could use any different EQ, or you might not want to EQ your claps and your snares. I add a little bit in the 12K to kind of give it some of that high end, and then I boost a little bit around 8 to 7K depending. Now the thing is with that, if you're gonna boost, if you're gonna add some EQ to your claps and your snare, you can't do it all for the same ones. And even this clap, I might not even want to. It might sound better without it. I kind of like it better with it, but I might want to back off, cut this one out, cut out the high end on that one, and add it right here, or do this instead. Just add the snap with that 8K range on the API, and then come here and I'm gonna add another little EQ. Let's see. Just add a little bit of high end. Nothing crazy. Alright, so now I have a bus set up right here. And if you're in Pro Tools, all you gotta do is just set up. If you just want to add it straight on there, that's fine too. You could add the bus right there. I have the bus going to this reverb unit right here, this R-verb. This is a pretty transparent reverb right here. It's not doing too much. It's not doing too much. If you're listening so hard for reverb whenever you have things soloed out, the thing is that you're probably going to be listening too hard, and you got to listen to reverb as a whole. You got to listen to the whole track, because you might hear it really, really loud whenever you have the things that you're adding reverb to soloed out, but then whenever you put it in the track, it sounds good. And vice versa. You might add a lot into it and then not realize how much you're cluttering up your mix with reverb, and then you listen to it and it doesn't sound good. Alright, so this is the little change up snare that I have in this part of the song. Yeah, let's see. Now this over easy compressor is the same DBX compressor, except it's just a different emulation. I really like McDSP stuff. See, it's taken off almost 6. And this is gain reduction right here. Same thing on this. You plug this one in right here. I have it set to gain reduction, so where I can see how much it's taken off. Not taking off too much. And everything that I showed you in the first tutorial that I showed you all about gain staging, if I'm turning things down and then sending them to a bus, to a compressor, I'm not making that compressor work so hard. I'm not making that compressor to where you actually hear the compression. Most of the time, I add compression to drums to add to, not take away. I don't use it in a conventional sense that I'm using this compressor to make the sound smaller. I'm making it sound bigger, but it's not like just turning up the knob and turning it up. Alright, so, and here comes our change up snare. to it in the track. Alright, so let's just look at my little EQ bus that I have down here. EQing your hi-hats and your open hi-hats, your crashes, all that stuff. It's a lot like how I was showing you with the snare earlier. If you add too much top end to your hi-hat, sometimes it'll make them sound bad, you know? So you might not want to add it, but in this case, I'm just rolling off a little bit below 90 hertz, and pretty much, you know, I'm just adding a little bit of mid-range. I'm adding a little bit of top end. I'm not doing, you know, crazy stuff. Alright, this might be crazy to some of y'all, but I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to this open hi-hat. It just sounds so dry. Let me do that. And like I said, this is a really transparent setting I have on it. Kind of just gives it more of a space that it didn't have before with that little bit of reverb. I'm going to add the same thing to this triangle right here. It doesn't sound as dry. It's just like it's just plain. Let me dramatically do it. Alright, so go back. Okay, now you can hear it. I have it soloed out on the reverb, what it's doing to it. This is a reverb that has a lot of the top end rolled off on it, to where whenever you do it, and I used to fight with this, adding reverb to vocals and adding reverb to everything, and I didn't realize how much the top end on a lot of these, you know, professional mixers, they were rolling off on some of the things. So I can do different things with reverbs to try to create them space in a mix that wasn't there before, with it just being dry. So I like to use that R-verb, and you can do it with pretty much any reverb. You just have the same settings, and you just roll off a little bit of the top end. Now with a different track, I might actually want to add, if it's just like a straight clap, you know, I might want to add a lot of reverb to it. Then it has like a change up snare where it's got a snare that's working with the clap, and then have the other snare dry, and the clap have a lot of like hall reverb or something like that kind of extends with like let's look at this setting with a longer time on it and a bigger size, and the diffusion lower, and that way it just kind of like spaces out. You know, you don't have to just add it like this. This is just for this one track. But that was mixing your drums. This is the tutorial right here. Like I said, I'm gonna be giving y'all these short little 10-minute tutorials on everything. I got a lot of questions a couple weeks ago, man, and a guy was asking me, why do you have to EQ, and why do you have to do that? Why don't you break it down for us, you know? And I've been having these big, long, you know, 30-minute tutorials, and I think I'm about to just start doing these little small ones to try to give y'all little tidbits. Sometimes I forget what it's like not knowing anything, and just not knowing why my stuff doesn't sound good. And I think that's the whole reason why we mix. You know, if you have a beat, it might be a platinum selling beat, it might be a great arrangement and everything like that, but if it's not mixed properly, then it doesn't shine the way that it's supposed to. And somebody's going to hear that, and they're only going to associate that it's sounding bad, that this isn't a good beat, that you know, I don't think this is a good beat because of that. But if you polish it off and you mix it and you make it sound good and it's pleasing to the ears, you know, your beats are going to sell more. And I think it's very important. But thank y'all for watching, and comment, rate, subscribe, send me questions, email me. Thank y'all for watching.